How to not be a noob? First step to not being a noob is to not think like a noob. If you think like a noob, you're a noob. All right. Well, is this FTP server vulnerable? I doubt it. Let's take notes. All right, and there might be an Ethereum network listening in there. What do I mean by thinking like a noob? I mean asking questions like, you know, like, guys, here. Slate, star, codex, building, square. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. He talks about Jane Jacobs. Ah, yes. Yes. Please read this. Right? And then you realize the guy who built that is a noob. And that kind of thinking is the problem. Right? It's everybody who wants to put you in a grid. Everybody who wants to give you... Guys, do you really own anything anymore? You know, I was just thinking that. Do you really... When you buy a PlayStation from Sony, do you own that PlayStation? When you buy a car from Honda, do you own that car? Or are they just renting it to you? Are they renting everything to you? Are they renting your apartment to you? You know, who really owns your kid? Do you own your kid or does the state own your kid? That's what I'm saying. That's the kind of noob thinking. The noobs go along with that mentality. Like, man, if only I had a college degree, the world would open up to me, right? Like, that's noob thinking. Looking for validation from other people instead of skill. I can't tell you what to do. If you're asking me to tell you what to do, you missed the whole fucking point. That's right. Oh, yeah. Hacking, man. Hacking. All right. For some reason, I doubt SSH is going to be very pwnable, but let's just key off. I mean, we can look for weird auths. I don't even have a key in here. Right. Read that. Essence, you know, you're a subscriber. You can speak in all caps. That's all fine. No, it's never too late to develop skills, man. Quit your shitty ass job and go learn some skills. Should we try SSH root? Should we try root? Oh, that didn't work either. All right. Well, we probably have to do some bullshit with this Ethereum. You know, who would have thought that it would be Ethereum? You can't add the key to host. It doesn't work like that. Okay. So there's probably we have an address and we have a contract. So probably what we're going to have to do is connect, and this isn't on the public Ethereum network. This is probably on some private Ethereum network. Networks. right, guys. Fuck certifications and fuck HR. Since when are we? Why do we hobble in front of these people who think they run corporations, right? Like, oh, you gotta get through HR, man. Start your own company. You know, and the ultimate jailbreak, man, is to realize that money was just made by a couple guys. You know, look at this guy, man. This guy's my hero. Real talk. Look at this guy, man. I've actually met that guy, but no. Think about this, right? Bitcoin was the beginning of the end for the state. Like, once you realize that the state doesn't have a monopoly on money, the state is just one kind of money. Like, just who cares, man? Get your Bitcoins, get your Ethereums. Right? These are decentralized money. Yeah, they're trashing our rights, man. They're trashing the flow of data. There. That's right. Yeah, he's the Bitcoin maker. But the way that he won, right? The way that he won was the thing that he built. You know, some people think, oh man, anarchy, fight the system. I'm gonna burn down a government building. I'm gonna be Timothy McVeigh. I'm gonna blow up a government building. See, that doesn't do anything, because the government has a monopoly on blowing up buildings, right? And you're not gonna beat them. You're not gonna make a bigger army than the U.S. Army, right? This is never gonna happen. But the real way is if you could just make something better than them, right? If you could figure out how to make a service that's better than theirs, right? And better in like a structural way. Money made by the state, they're just one group of people that makes money. Why does anybody take these jokers seriously, right? And if everybody started thinking like that, we'd have the revolution tomorrow. But as long as you keep thinking like that, as long as you keep thinking, man, I want something from the state, like I want some dollars, or I want a degree, or I want a certification, or I want a validation, that's how they keep you trapped. And as long as you keep thinking like that, you're always going to be a noob. You're always going to be a noob. As long as that's your mentality. As long as your mentality is like, George, how do I hack? You're always going to be a noob. Right? The world information. Oh yeah, but I gotta pay my bills. What bills? What bills? Have you guys heard about Slab City, man? See this apartment? If this cost me a real amount of money, if this cost me more money than I was making through interest, I wouldn't have an apartment like this. I lived in a van, man. See, that's really like then you just start making money, and you start making money not because it's anything you have to do, right? I'm not saying don't buy their shit, man. But check out this robotic vacuum cleaner. All right, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Robot vacuum cleaner. I'm not saying don't buy their shit. I'm saying if you're doing something in order to buy their shit, you're a noob, right? If you just happen to come upon money and you're like, damn, I want that shit, that's all fine. Charging, that's right. See what I mean? So if you say, oh, I gotta pay my bills, I can't quit my job tomorrow. Live in a van. I don't think you're owning the libs, man. Owning the libs is another, dude, have you seen how much money, people think, the Republicans, they're the underdog. No, they're not. You're not owning the libs. There was, in 2014, okay, fine. In 2014, there were libs everywhere. It was a real thing. Today, you're owning the libs. The libs are a joke. All right, that's the closest you'll ever get to real politics. Because politics is another one of these things, man. They get you into their system. Oh, who I'm going to vote for? I'm going to go out. I'm going to vote for the Democrats. Or I'm going to vote for the Republicans, right? You're not voting for shit. Your vote is a consent to your slavery. Ford bloke, what do you say? No, really though, when you vote, you're just consenting to their ownership of you. No class war. They're trying to pit the classes against each other. There's no class, right? The only difference is there's noobs and there's not noobs. And the noobs are the people who think that they're, I'm this class. Oh, yeah, they buy into this structure, man. The system only works because too many people buy into it. Stop buying into the fucking system. And that's how you become not a noob. The skills follow. You vote for Andrew Yang, get your free money, man. All right, let's go. Where were we? Good rant today? We have good rants today? Okay. What port? Scan all the ports. Ethereum clients use FNC, an alternative netcap. It doesn't seem like it's open. Oh man, there's a Star Trek Voyager episode that goes into it where, like, you know, Chakotay meets a bunch of anarchists and they talk about the beast and, like, most young people are drones slogging through the system. And most people are. Most people, period. Because they think the system has some kind of legitimacy. And they desperately, and this is what they want more than anything else, legitimacy. And the truth is, there's nothing to that. There's no like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people think about you. It doesn't matter what society thinks about you. Right? But, yeah. Director homeless. Okay. The system wasn't drafted up as some sort of conspiracy. I'm not saying the system's a conspiracy, right? I'm not saying anything about there being a conspiracy here. It is a naturally evolved thing, right? And this is where a lot of conspiracy theories get things wrong. They think that there's somebody, right? They think that you're going to get to the top and you're finally going to meet the lizard people. And the lizard people are what's been making you miserable. As soon as the lizard people are unmasked, everything's going to get better. But that's not it, man. It's really a decentralized dystopia, right? So, you know, it's the system isn't a few people oppressing the majority. The system is everybody oppressing everybody else. The system is everybody thinking that everybody else buys into it, right? You know, power isn't what you have. It's a lot of times it's what your opponent thinks you have. Whoa. By the way, I'll link you to my male vitality supplements right here in my Shopify. If they didn't pull my payment processor, and I'm talking to Alex Jones' voice. All right, let's go. Look, man, all I'm saying is Facebook's not a CIA conspiracy or whatever Alex Jones says. The moon landing was real. Osama bin Laden did 9/11. I don't know what else. Making the frogs gay. This is the mind. This is how you think like a hacker, though. You know, you want to think like a hacker. You want skills. This is how you get skills. You're never gonna learn them. Whoa! Everybody acts in a self-interested manner. Absolutely. I'm not saying that we should all. I'm not saying any workers of the world unite shit, man. I hate commies as much as any good American. But what I'm saying is, what if we could build better systems? What if we could build systems that didn't involve social capital, that didn't involve who you were, that didn't involve legitimacy, but just involved technicality, right? And that's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin as a protocol and as a system doesn't treat different coins differently. When the United States government treats different dollars differently, right? Oh, those are money laundered dollars, right? What does that even mean? Although those dollars weren't officially brought into this country and paid tax on, right? Like this is just somebody putting up artificial barriers of control. I'm not talking about libertarianism either. I'm not talking about politics, guys. I'm talking about what makes you a noob. All right. We'll get back to hacking. All right, but for everybody who asks the question from here on out, how do I not be a noob? Just listen to that rant. And step one is quit your job. And if you haven't done that, you're not ready to not be a noob yet.